He's the one who inspired me to go to film school in the first place. And then, one semester into film school, I discovered the MLP fandom. So,
And now we circle back to the beginning.
Game begin.
The Mystery Gaming Bros are awesome! The Mystery Gaming Bros know how to party!
hey dudes, welcome back to Mystery Gaming Bros. I decided to call it that to make it more inclusive to all those weird non-bronies who might want to listen. Today I'm joined by my other co-host for the first time while Shakes takes a break. He, the dude, the guy with the face and the hair, the one who knows what money does when it falls in a river, the guy with the green back, Cashflow, welcome.
Oh yeah. Good to be here. Good to meet y'all. And money does in fact flow when it falls into a river.
Yeah.
You're not wrong there. And I am very fond of those greenbacks.
You're our cash expert here. You know all about the cash.
I know it's green. I know you can buy things with it. And I know if you throw it around, people will go. They'll spend some time around you. I can't guarantee they'll stay, but if you throw it around, people will spend some time around you. That's not financial advice, but hey, the more you know.
Yeah. So, what is your Super Brony and gaming origin story?
So I'd say it must have been about 10 years ago at this point. Yeah, give or take about 10 years ago at this point. End of 2013 or so, my buddy started telling me about this show that he started liking. He started watching, right?
What was that, 2013?
Yeah, give or take end of 2013. It was just after season 3 and between 3 and 4.
Yep.
He started telling me about the show he started liking, right? And I made fun of him for it. Because, well, yeah, obviously you would. Yeah, as you would. I was in middle school at the time. I thought that was pretty gay. And I was like, haha, what a loser. And the bastard got me hooked. That's the best way to put it.
Yep. Yeah.
He was like, listen, trust me. Watch this. You'll like it. And I was like, you know what? I'll give it a go. He's my buddy for a reason. You know?
Yep. Yeah. But basically for me, I started in 2011, July. I remember it because it was the semester break between Certificate 3 and Certificate 4 of film school. I was in film school for film and television. And I did Certificate 3 for 6 months at film school. And then then I decided to binge watch the first season of MLP because I'd been hearing so much about it. And basically for the second semester of film school, I was a full-on brony by then. Because, I got, like, fully into the show and started, just joining communities and getting into the whole community during my semester break at film school.
And I gotta ask, what was the first... Oh, if you don't mind interrupting real quick, what was the first fan fiction you had read? Because I imagine at that point, since you were in film school, you would already realize, like, hey, fan fiction is kind of a thing.
Well, Cupcakes was a major part of how I found out about the fandom to begin with. Because the fandom that I was in before Bronies was that guy with the glasses fandom. I'm sure you've heard of them. You know, Nostalgia Critic.
Actually.
Oh, okay. Nostalgia Critic. And all the like talents that he sort of took on to become like the comedy review video community. Have you really never heard of them?
Yes, I have heard of Nostalgia Critic.
Yeah. So he had like a whole community around him, and that's what I was a fandom of. And I was trying to become one of the feature creators there. I was hanging around in that community in the forums, submitting videos where I'd like review anime and stuff, and tried to get into that community. So I'm just unplugging my phone that's making noise. And then I switched to the Brony community.
So how's that been treating you so far?
Well,
like,
2011, 2012.
I mean, you're still here.
Yeah. 2011, 2012 were probably the best years of my life, just because I was literally like a basement dweller and, rarely ever went out and socialized. I was very discouraged from socializing from how I was treated in school. basically the, biggest loser in school that was constantly bullied and, hated by pretty much everyone except for a small group of fellow nerd friends. And, but then when I started hanging out with the Brony community, I was like one of the cool kids and, I was actually included and it felt like I was, one of the cool kids in high school, as a change from when, I was basically the school punching bag when I was actually in high school. But yeah,
I was gonna say it was basically like a whole different world.
Yeah,
in a sense.
Yeah, and I was 24 I was 24 when I first found out about MLP and got involved in the community. So yeah, I was about 6 years out of school by then, and I just never felt so accepted and part of an actual extensive friend group.
Yeah, so, I mean that's something that specifically really does help, especially if you don't have anything prior to that. It really does help give you a sense of community in a sense. You know what I mean? It gives.
So that's kind of one of the reasons that I'm a bit obsessive about it because, it's not like I don't really care that much about the show anymore, but it obviously ended up being a huge impact in my life because it's basically my entire social life. I never really had much of a social life before joining the Brony fandom, so yeah, it's pretty big part of my life now.
As I could imagine. I mean, I could imagine, especially like you said, if it makes up most of your social life, then that's something that really, well, you cling on to. There's no other, there's no other reason not to. There's no other way not to. For me, I was very fortunate in that I'm just an extrovert, just straight out an extrovert. I love socializing, talking with people. So for me, it was always really easy to make friends. And I remember even back when I first started watching the show, I was very just open about it. I really did not. I still don't care, if I'm being completely honest. I keep it more so as I don't want to say a personal thing because it's pretty obvious if you just talk to me, ask me about it, But I really don't bring it up in polite conversation.
Yeah.
And it's simply more so because unless it comes out, unless there's a reason for it to, you know what I mean? There's no real need.
Yeah, like I was secretive about it at first until I started actually finding some of the people in my own city that were also Bronies, and we started having meetups. And those meetups were basically the first ever, in real life sort of social interactions where I'd actually like go out to parties and stuff. Before that I was just a, basement dwelling gamer. And yeah. So yeah, it set everything up for me. Going out to social events was always started with the Brony stuff. Because I think there was about 3 months or so when I didn't even know where to find other Bronies. I didn't even know if there were even any locally. And then I started finding out that there were and started hanging out with them, in real life. And yeah, everything went off from there.
See, for me, it's like, how should I put it? I never really had a group of Brony friends to go to like that. So it just became a part of my overall personality, I guess you can say. You know what I mean? I mean, for God's sakes, I'm still here 10 years later. But in a sense, it basically grew my love of cartoons. That's probably the best way to put it. It grew my love of cartoons in that I liked cartoons before this, but I really never considered myself the biggest, fan, I guess you could say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like, you know what? Just who cares? It gave me that who cares attitude. That'd probably be the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Sorry,
like, I'm just testing my microphone a little bit again. I think I had
no worries.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yeah, keep going. Sorry about that.
No worries. You're good. So for me, I never actually even got to go to any kind of meetups or anything like that, especially because while I had the attitude of who cares, my family always thought it was, well, my brothers and sisters thought it was funny.
Oh, yeah.
If a little strange.
Well, one thing and
my parents thought it was strange.
Yeah. I'll just say that my mum thinks that it's a symptom of autism. She thinks that the whole Brony thing is just a symptom of autism, and that everyone who watches the show is autistic, and that's basically her attitude about it.
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely know what you mean, but I think that's also because I heard you. I can't quite remember. I think it was in the last video you mentioned that your mom your mom said that might be a sign of something. You may want to look into that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I
Oh
mean,
my goodness.
like I am autistic, and it's part of why I get obsessive about things. I used to be very obsessive about science and Final Fantasy, before the Brony fandom, but now Ponies has been my longest running obsession, you know. But yeah, I still like sci-fi and stuff and everything else.
For me, I'd have to say that for me the biggest part of it is definitely the ponies. That's pretty much the only fandom I'd consider myself a part of. I love animation in general, but there isn't like an animation fandom, if you know what I mean. Like the fandoms that the way I think of it is the fandoms are specifically around specific media. Like, there's anime fans, but even then that just segments down into specific animes because not everyone likes every anime. You know what I mean? It's just a medium. It's just a medium. It's not a genre, it's not a specific archetypal. It's nothing like that. It's nothing that you can latch onto in the sense where you say, "Oh yeah, I love all animes." Because you aren't going to like all animes.
I enjoyed a lot of anime when I was a teenager, but it's kind of dropped off for me. Now it's just live action TV shows and ponies. But other than that, like adult cartoons like Family Guy and South Park I enjoy. But Ponies is the only really explicitly kids one. And a lot of my friends who think I'm weird for watching Ponies, they watch SpongeBob. And I think they're weird for watching SpongeBob because I watch SpongeBob and it doesn't appeal to me. I think it's just silly and dumb.
For me, it's like, oh God. Well, for me, the biggest way to put it would be, I really will just like watching any and all cartoons. Like, I may not like the cartoon, but eventually, if I'm just bored, you know what I mean? I'll just toss it on. Or even if it's just on, that's probably the best way I could describe it. If it's just on, I'm probably just going to watch. Like, I really don't, it's the same way that I'm a music mutt. If it's just on, I could probably vibe to it.
Yeah.
That being said, there's a lot of things that I really will get bored with and would rather just pull out my phone. And most likely will pull out my phone. Like, probably one of the easiest way to put it would be Cocomelon. Like, that's nothing. That's a nothing burger. That literally is a nothing burger. And the only reason I even know about that is because my nieces and nephews. Every once in a while, my niece will like to watch Cocomelon. But even her, like, it's just, there's nothing to it. I saw my first episode of Bluey the other day.
Oh, yeah.
That shit is so cute. That shit is so cute. I'm not going to lie. Like, holy fuck, it's wholesome. That's the best way I could describe it. That's the only way I could really describe it. It's just wholesome as hell.
Yeah, I kind of intend to get around to it, but I might want to get drunk enough first, like I did when I first watched the first season of MLP. I was nice and sauced up.
that doesn't. I mean, honestly, I can see it. I would have probably been sauced up on my first viewing if I wasn't 14. Because we were on a fishing trip. We were about to go on a fishing trip, mind you. And I was bored. I had nothing to do. The TV didn't show anything good. I was just on my phone. I was texting my buddy. He's like, dude, just watch an episode. So I actually started off with Dragon Shy. That was the first episode I saw. And I just freaking loved it. Actually, that was also the first episode I showed my buddy. He didn't get into the fandom. Because this was only like 2 years ago. But he had a good time. And that was the fun part of it. Because basically we were just calling all the bullshit that was happening. Like, dude, you assault the fucker. You assault this goddamn dragon. You assault the man. You attack him. You annoy the shit out of him. He's just trying to sleep. And then you kick him out of his home. Like, I mean, I never thought of it that way. But thinking about it, like going back, like, yeah, that kind of happened. Rainbow Dash kicked him. Pinkie Pie did whatever the hell she did. She basically just harassed the hell out of him. Rarity tried to steal from him. And then ultimately, all six of them just kicked him out. They're like, "Nah, homie, you don't belong in this neighborhood. Get out of here."
Yeah.
Which I think is it's pretty funny.
Yeah,
Going back to, you know.
Yeah, I think I watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, okay, not too bad. And then something sort of clicked for me with Applebuck season. That, you know, I'd say so third episode, or I think it was fourth episode. It was Ticketmaster and then Applebuck season. And when I saw how awesome Applejack was, I was just like, yep, this show's amazing.
Was she your favorite for a while?
I think at the time, but yeah, like Fluttershy and Applejack impressed me the most at first. But by the end of the season, Rarity was my second favorite because I found her to be like an annoying bitch that I didn't like. But over the course of the season, I just grew to love her. I was like, well, actually, she's a lot like me. She's the creative type, you know. And I saw a lot more of myself in her, you know, after Suited for Success was when, you know, it really turned me around on Rarity.
For me, more recently have I found myself really liking Rarity, identifying with Rarity. Applejack for sure. My first favorite pony for the longest freaking time. Love the hell out of her. But after I fell off the Brony fandom for a while.
Humor.
Yes. Actually, a lot more of it comes out in that what was that really cute one that they just made? The 4.5 basically. What was it? I know I have it somewhere. Well, basically, it was here it is. Pony Life. That's what it was called.
All right.
She gets a lot more dry, sarcastic humor in that one.
Okay.
Which I never watched. I didn't either for the longest time. I'm like on season episode 11, but it's fun. It's actually a fun romp. Like I wasn't expecting it. I really wasn't expecting it, but it's fun. I have to give it that. But recently, actually, and oh, by the way, I'm recording video, so everyone gets to see me put on this hat I made. Rarity inspired. She would not be proud because I look like a freaking animal in this stupid thing. Well, I mean, it's a do-rag, so I look awesome. But
maybe I should use your video when I'm doing the editing, because, yeah, I've just kind of got a blank screen here with my notes on it, and I'm bringing up OBS to check the time. So
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Your video.
You're gonna see my video and you'll be like, "What the hell was this guy doing?" I just put on my do-rag. I'm eating a dehydrated mango. I just went to Costco yesterday. I needed some sustenance. I needed some food. I had nothing in my fridge. Anyway, back to it. So, this do-rag hat thing that I made, this crappy little thing, Rarity would not be proud, but she'd be, you know, that oh, good work, darling, or whatever. Because I literally just cut the sleeves off a shirt. That's what I did. I just cut the sleeves off a shirt and figured, hey, a hat's a hat, right? Am I wrong?
Nope.
A hat is a hat. So, that's with this little revival. Since I went to BabsCon, I've had a bit of a Brony revival. Like, whereas I'm consuming the media once again. Because before I'd read fan fiction and stuff like that. But it really wasn't to the point where I was actively involved in the community. Now, I want to do a whole bunch of stuff. Like, if I'm being honest, I'm trying to come up with ideas for a panel so that I can do at one of the conventions, because I think that would be a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun talking, if you couldn't already tell. Like, put me in front of a camera, put me in front of a stupid microphone, put me in front of the crowd. I'll love the hell out of it. It's just me. It's just something that I personally enjoy. I've always been extroverted like that.
Hey, so from what you said before, I think I'm estimating you're about 26 or 27 now?
Close, but no cigar. 24.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, because that's basically the age when I joined the fandom to begin with.
Really?
Yeah. So, yeah, you're the age I was when I started being a Brony, basically. So I just found that an interesting coincidence, maybe.
Well, I mean, hey, everyone joined at a different time, man. That's the
Yeah.
thing. You got some people that are joining like me, like when they were young,
Yeah.
and now,
So I'm
10 years
36
on.
now. Yeah, I'm
Whoo-wee.
36 now.
How does that feel?
Oh, I feel old, getting into old age.
Hey, man, 36 is the new 26. Think of it like that.
Yeah, sure.
Just consider, I mean, it
I'm
is what
getting
it
to the
is. No
point
one
where
can
I feel
avoid it.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point where I feel like I've witnessed so much history happen. Like back in my day, I was using Windows 3.1, and my computer could switch between being 32 or 64 megabytes of RAM.
And now you're thinking about it
Much.
like, God damn. Yo,
Yeah.
how many wait, you have how many gigabytes of RAM now?
Oh,
It's
what?
like,
Like now?
no, like that's what you're thinking. Like, dude,
Yeah.
what the like, God damn, 128? They make that in a stick?
Yeah.
Of course, it'll
Yeah.
cost you a pretty penny, but is
So
what it
yeah,
is.
like that's my perspective. I wonder what your perspective is. When you were like 14 and the iPhones were going around. I mean, yeah, like when I was 14, yeah, we had like little brick phones, and
Hmm.
it's just a bit weird, wild to think about how
The
much
progress
time has
that's been
passed
made.
sometimes. Yeah,
For me,
and
since
like
some,
kids nowadays, they've all got iPads. Every
oh yeah,
6-year-old's got an iPad.
well, it's because you make them cheap now. That's the thing.
Mm,
It's gone to the point where you can mass produce them and sell them for like less than $100 in many cases,
yeah.
which is pretty insane.
And the newest generation is going to be so influenced by TikTok and social media a lot more than we were.
Doug, my like even my generation was influenced by TikTok and all that. Like I remember there were still stories coming out of well, specifically there was one coming out where Facebook was, this was I think early 2013. They screwed with young girls that had body issues. They were like, "Oh yeah, we want to see, how this can affect you mentally." So they sent them like stuff that would make them think about their body image, and then they didn't do that with some, just to see what the difference would be. It was like, hot damn. Like all this stuff, and they're just getting started at this point, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
it's experimentation, and it's like very unethical. It's
oh yeah,
not that much
100%.
difference to how they used to give drugs to prisoners to see how it affected them.
Yeah, the only difference was that these people hadn't done anything wrong. They just wanted to use Facebook.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
even,
Yeah, and anyone that uses Facebook now have their information everywhere, and
oh yeah.
scammers can find it, and
Well,
yeah,
Facebook actually is the internet for some countries. Facebook will go into like poorer countries, some places like in Southern America, in Africa,
get them all
places like
addicted.
that. Sort of, yeah, because what they do is they set up these networks where, yeah, you'll have some things like video sharing platforms. I think YouTube is part of it, like that it becomes part of that generalized package that you get. But as well, they make Facebook like the main thing, almost like the Google of it. So if you're doing anything on it, the most likely part or the most likely aspect that you're going to get is going to get the Facebook. Excuse me. The most likely aspect you're going to get is the Facebook part, which is pretty crazy to think about. It. Like, hot damn. I mean, they get internet, but it's all. I don't know if it's curated
But at
to.
what cost? But at what cost?
Hey, do you want internet or not?
Oh yeah,
That's
I wouldn't be
basically
able
the
to live without
question.
it.
What was that?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to live without it.
It is what it is. You get used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember in high school, I actually did a survival training camp with California Cadet Corps. Holy crap. Funnest week of my life. So great. We hiked like 32 miles in that week. It was so much fun. We used maps. We used knives. I remember we killed a chicken to eat it. Oh, so good. So good. Sergeant Cluckers. I think that was the name. We even caught a snake. Called him, I think, Admiral Slithers. We traded him for food.
I actually spent 5 months living in a tent in the outback because I was homeless, me and my mum were kicked out of our house, and yeah, we had to spend 5 months just living in 2 tents and a car in the outback. So that was a pretty interesting time. Extended camping trip.
Extended camping trip. I mean,
Yeah,
you got to look
but
at the silver lining of
funny?
these things.
You know what's funny though? After a little bit, probably about 2 months in, we got a generator, and I actually started playing World of Warcraft in my tent while homeless.
That's the beauty of the modern world, bro.
Yeah,
That's the
got
beauty of
my
the modern
World of
world.
Warcraft, got my World of Warcraft subscription, got my my dongle modem, and yeah, I was playing World of Warcraft.
In a tent in the outback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man,
We
that's
got to
funny.
have some modern conveniences because my mum was still working as a cleaner, so she would drive off in a car and go and work and come back with my laptop and my small netbook. So I had 2 computers to alternate between, when their battery ran out, and I was using those to keep a presence online.
So what would you do, like, when your mom went to work? Were you just chilling out there in the outback then?
Yeah, mostly reading. I got a lot of reading done because that's basically all there was to do. And then my mum would come back and I'd have access to the computer. And that's actually when I started doing some of my audiobooks for the first time, like way back in 2013 or so, I think. And that was some of my first audiobooks. And they had
So you were
terrible
recording
background noise
audiobooks.
and all that. Yeah. Yeah, and they had terrible, background noise. They're probably unlistenable now, but they got quite a lot of views until YouTube shut that channel down because the fan fictions that I was reading were not safe for work. So
Oh,
yeah, that whole channel that lasted for I think 13 years. And I was getting a lot more views from reading NSFW content than what I'm getting now reading, safe for work, baby fiction. I was getting like,
is it
massive
just
amounts of subscribers back then.
is it now just like is it just not possible to do that? Do they
Oh
just
no,
instantly nuke the channel or demonetize you?
yeah. My last channel got shut down, so then I re-uploaded all of my fictions because I was already starting to do more safe for work fiction just because I wanted to, not because anyone was forcing me. I was like, oh yeah, there's some other good stories out there. So I restarted my channel, branded it Mystery Pony Fiction. It used to be called The Mystery Fluttershy Fan. And that's when I re-uploaded all of my safe for work fics and then just started doing only safe for work fics from then on.
Well, didn't you mention you had a Patreon before? Couldn't you technically upload them there?
I've got a Patreon, but I've only ever had 2 patrons. And I kind of gave up on uploading there because no one looks there. Yeah, I've got one patron that's a friend. He's in the Discord that we frequent, Kalash, and
Okay.
he's my only patron. So Patreon's just sitting there in case someone wants to join it. But at the moment, I'm focusing more on trying YouTube memberships instead.
With the YouTube memberships, what's the extent you can go with those? Like,
well, people
what
can
what are the rules?
Well, yeah, people can subscribe, and I get to use the YouTube Studio to decide what perks they get. At the moment, it's just early access, and I've only got the one tier of $1.49 AUD to just get early access at the moment.
Okay,
So,
I mean that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm trying to keep ahead so that there's at least 2 to 3 weeks of stories that I've read that aren't available, that are only available to members. But so far I haven't got any. I'm still just trying to advertise it and see if anyone shows interest. But trying to make sure I keep 2 to 3 weeks ahead in content just in case people start finally subscribing, and maybe one day I can quit my job and just do YouTube. That's the dream.
And that's the hope, right?
Yeah.
What's it called? Well, I mean, take those bloopers. You know, I recorded extra. I recorded that whole little bit of you of you not being able to hear me. So
Okay.
you can add that to the $1.49 sub tier. Like, hey,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Not only do you get early access, boom, bloopers as well.
Yep.
Easy. Offering the best content.
Yeah. I mean,
Plus,
that's
you know,
basically
they get
what
to
I'm
see me
doing
eating a
now.
mango.
I'm finding ways to expand this business empire of mystery pony fiction.
Well, I
That
mean,
is currently paying me 15 cents a day. That's what I get from advertising on YouTube, 15 cents a day. And occasionally I've gotten some commissions, mostly from Kalash. And there was actually one guy that I got a commission from that wanted me to read absolutely terrible stories, which
hey, you
kind of
know what?
sucked. But I did them. I did the job.
Take the money. Yeah, I was gonna say, take the money.
I,
Take the money.
I,
Terrible stories, terrible fan fiction or not, just be like, all right, you know what?
yeah.
Screw it. You're gonna pay me for this.
Yeah. Plus, the other thing is, I'm really proud of how I made these terrible stories sound kind of epic. Anyway, at least I
There's
think I
a
did.
there's a server. It's the archival server. I don't know if you know Zizzy's archival server, but for him, that somebody just the other day was looking for that. They were like, "Yo, there was a terrible story, terrible fan fiction, but whoever read it made it so much better than how I had." Are yours still up, by the way? The one that they commissioned?
It's actually not aired yet. It's one of my in the future prepared ones.
Okay, okay, okay. Because he was looking for one that happened in the past, that had already happened in days gone by or whatever. But they took it down, so he was pretty disappointed at that because he thought that they made his work like go so much farther than he had. It
Oh
was
yeah.
him that wrote it. He was like, "Yeah, my story was trash, but the what they did, the extra work that they put into it, like it was good. I was sad to see it go." He said.
Mm. Well, I do at least still have my my old archives on a podcast, a separate podcast feed to the one on Spotify, because Spotify is probably too safe for work. So I have a safe for work version of my podcast on Spotify and other platforms related to it. And I've got a separate one on Libsyn, which has all of my back catalogue of NSFW ones. And I've also got my NSFW catalogue on odyssey.com because, there's more free speech there. And, but yeah, YouTube is just staying. So I'm not sure what point I was trying to get at.
I mean, let's call it the marketing hour. This is where you
Yeah.
can find me. This is where you can find my not safe for work stuff, etc., etc., etc.
Oh yeah, and the problem is that on YouTube I'm not allowed to tell people how to get to it. I actually got striked for it before. I
Really?
got a warning. I got a warning strike just for saying, "Hey guys, here's a little preview of just a innocent part of a fic that does go into explicit stuff. Here's where you can find it on Odyssey or whatever." But yeah, that's all I'm putting on YouTube. Only a little snippet that isn't explicit. But just because I gave people a link to this Odyssey site, or actually in this instance, it was a site called Player that I was going to try to put all my NSFW videos back up and see if I could get an audience there, along with everything else. But the problem was they banned me, like they gave me a strike for showing people how to get to NSFW content. So
Well,
I've got to be careful about that.
have you tried Rumble at all?
No.
I've heard good things about Rumble. It's still small enough that you essentially can not. I don't know. I don't want to say blow up, but it's small enough that there's less competition for new creators. That's something that I had heard. That when people do like small live streams, they tend to get more people watching because there's less things to watch on Rumble.
Oh,
But I
yeah.
also heard that they don't return quite as well. Like, the advertising. I mean, one thing that I was talking to one of my buddies about, because we were trying to get a business open, our own business. Still trying to figure out, but we'll get there. Basically, the first goal is to make rent. You know what I mean? That's just the first goal. It's
Yeah.
completely annoying because, I mean, at this point, like, there's so many business created, you're basically going into a field to compete with other businesses who have already been established. But, well, you got to figure it out. You just got to baby steps. You got to get it started. And there's no other way to do it.
I got a pop up on my computer outing me that I've got a torrent running.
What's anyone going to say? It's just a torrent.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. For me, I use Right, do you torrent like videos and stuff like that?
Video games, TV shows. Obviously, I torrented Game of Thrones. I mean, who didn't?
I actually didn't watch Game of Thrones.
It's a must see. Like, it's one of those things you got to watch before you die. In my opinion, it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. I'd probably rate it higher than a lot of other shows I've seen. It's just that I'd never got, wrapped up in the community, but the show itself is absolutely astounding.
I know, for me, I use HD Today, .tv. I don't know if we're allowed to, tell people about it, but I'm sure it won't be an issue. It's basically just, well, a streaming site. So
yeah,
I pulled it up now. Let's see. Give me a show idea. Give me a show idea. That's not Game of Thrones.
The Great is a show I've been enjoying lately. The Great. The Summit. So the Great's a historical.
Is it a Hulu one with the Queen, Holy Mother of Russia?
Yep.
Okay, I just found. I think, what is this? Season 3? 3 seasons?
Yeah, I think there's 3. I'm only halfway through season 2. Well, don't play any audio from it.
Popped up. No, God no. Yep, it's got 3 seasons.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that. That's typically what I do. Like if I ever want to watch something.
Well, anyway, we should probably talk about video games for a bit.
Oh yeah, I forgot this was supposed to be a video game episode.
Yeah, Shakes, before I started recording with Shakes basically said, let's not have any Brony talk. And so we didn't, as you probably heard if you listened to it.
I did.
Yeah.
I watched the premiere of it, actually.
Oh, cool.
What's it called? Well, we already let that cat out of the bag. But moving on towards, actual video games, I have been basically like almost religiously playing Arma 3 for the last few days.
Yeah, I did notice when I looked at your games list, it's pretty different from mine. I haven't really been into first-person shooters since Perfect Dark and, GoldenEye.
I don't think I ever played Perfect Dark. What was your Steam name, by the way?
You're probably a baby when those were out.
Probably.
Yeah.
It's very likely.
Like, I absolutely love them, but the other thing about Perfect Dark and GoldenEye is that they were when I was gaming with my uncle, and unfortunately my uncle passed away.
Sorry to hear that.
And I don't know if it's some sort of psychological thing, but I've never really seen a first-person shooter impress me again since Perfect Dark. There was a bit of Halo that I played with my uncle, and after that, I just see every first-person shooter as like a Halo or Perfect Dark copy, and doesn't really interest me. It seems like it's just, I had my first-person shooter stage when I played Perfect Dark and a bit of Halo, and haven't really been interested in first-person shooters since.
For me, I'm trying to think. The first-person shooter I definitely played was going to be a Call of Duty. That was just, I think it was World at War. Yeah, it was definitely World at War. I freaking loved it.
I remember working at a game store when that came out. Like, I was working at Harvey Norman and there was a gaming section, and I was responsible for organizing the gaming section, and I remember when that game came out, and I was stocking the shelf with it. And yeah, I was probably like 22 at the time.
Hot damn. You play a lot of Path of Exile.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You got a lot. You got just about as much Path of Exile as I have on CS:GO.
Well, there
Like,
you go.
you have 2,300 hours.
Yep,
There's
and
all in the.
I've never reached level cap on Path of Exile.
What the hell's the level cap?
100. It's very hard to get to. I probably could get to it if I tried really hard, but I I tend to get distracted by other games before I manage to get past level 91 on Path of Exile.
Oh, I see. Well, I mean that kind of makes sense.
And
I have
then a
game.
new league comes out, and I go back to Path of Exile for that league, and so on. And then yeah,
I remember.
again don't make it past 91.
I remember there was a game I used to play all the time called Dead Frontier, and holy crap, it took so. I just didn't know how to grind. Me and my buddies, we all played it, and we just didn't know how to grind. Because now that we do, like the level cap in that game is like 320, give or take. But the thing was it 320 or I think two? No, yeah, it's 320 now. It used to be.
25.
It's 325 now.
It's been 325 for a long time.
Okay, my buddy just corrected me. He's behind me. You can probably see him in that little video right there. Boom. Anyway, it's 325, and for the longest time it was 220. But so many people got there, and so many people just stagnated on the game that they changed it to 325. So it took forever just to get there, and now it's like, well, I grinded up to like 108 or something along those lines. What level are you, Dane?
Like 223.
Yeah, my buddy, he went from like being the lowest ranked in that game. Now he's at 223, or lowest leveled in that game. And it's just because there's actually, we didn't know this at the time, but there's actual ways to grind it, like to actually maximize your XP. So for us, just being, kids, not even reading into the total mechanics of it, it was just like, oh, okay. So I guess we just have to go out and kill like 50 million bajillion things. Because the level cap's like, it's insane. At 325, I believe you have to earn double what you've already earned up to that point. Or something along those lines. It essentially just keeps going higher and higher and higher.
Exponential.
It's exponential?
Yeah, the growth, the XP is exponential.
The XP is exponential.
Yeah. So it sort of reminds me how in Diablo 3, there was no level cap. You could just keep getting Paragon levels forever.
Oh, Diablo 3 was fun. We played it for a good little while. You gonna get Diablo 4, by the way?
Yep, yeah, I've gotten my first character to level 50. So that's how much I play Diablo 4. And
it's already out.
Oh, yeah. Didn't you know?
I did not know. I did not. Well, I mean, I probably knew, but I just probably didn't care.
Yeah, I cared quite a lot because, I was looking forward to seeing it. It's very different to Diablo 3. It's kind of they've made it more of a mix of an MMO and action RPG. Because instead of like randomized maps and acts, there's an open world now. Mm-hmm. That's got the top-down perspective, just like Diablo 3, but it's a whole open world and it's pretty big. But then I think when you go into dungeons, that's when it can be randomized, like standard Diablo 3.
I'm trying to think, and I think actually they did a beta for it, didn't they? Like a beta test, or not a beta test, but like you can play it, a beta weekend, a free weekend.
Yeah, they had a couple of them, and then I didn't participate in those. I just waited till the release date to get it, which was 6/6. Hang on.
June 6th.
Yeah, June 6th.
June 6th. What year?
23. I just remember thinking they were clearly trying to go for a 6/6/65, by releasing it on the 6th of the 6th.
Yeah. Did they release it at 6 p.m. at least?
No, probably just midnight or whatever.
That's a missed
I got mine
opportunity.
digitally. Yeah, if I tried to get it physically, I would have probably had to wait till the next day to play it. But I got it digitally. I was able to download it at like 9 p.m. because most games come out at when it's midnight in the eastern states in Australia. And since I'm in Western Australia, I was able to, download it like 9 p.m. whenever it was midnight in the eastern states.
Oh, I see. I mean, that's kind of helpful, I guess.
Yeah. That ends up happening with a lot of games. I'm like, okay, it's 9 p.m. I can probably, download the midnight release now.
It's like your Krabby Patty. Oh boy, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I remember I did end up playing the I think I played the beta for it, the open beta or the free weekend.
Okay.
It was pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. I did have a good amount of fun with it.
They do have this fun thing where like each character has a unique mechanic, other than, their skills and abilities. Like for the Necromancer, it's the Book of the Dead, where all of his summoning is done. Like, so unlike with the Necromancer in Diablo 3, where you like choose minion abilities and, decide to go heavy with minion abilities, instead the Necromancer's got this Book of the Dead where you can have a couple of different options for like your skeletons. So you can have skeletons that are, that are focused on, being warriors, and there's like two options to choose from. Or you can have your skeletons be guardians, which is what I chose, where they're more tanky and have got shields.
Mm-hmm.
But then the third choice on both of those, you can choose to sacrifice your minions, which means you don't have minions at all, and you instead get some kind of other buff, to your intelligence or something like that. So you can choose to either have minions or not have minions and have more stats as like a, pure caster.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. I remember, yeah, because I remember it was something along those lines. I can't quite remember who I went,
Yeah.
what character I went with, but I don't think I definitely did not have minions.
Yeah. So apparently each class has got a mechanic like that. Like I think apparently the barbarian is able to use multiple weapons at once. So he doesn't just equip one sword. He equips a sword, an axe, a spear, and he's like constantly switching between them with his abilities.
I see.
Yeah. And I kind of haven't wanted to spoil what the mechanics of the other classes are for myself, but the other one I played is Druid, and his seems to be more simple in that he just has these spirits, and he can choose different options of like Spirit of the Wolf, what Spirit of the Wolf buff he wants to choose, what Spirit of the Owl buff he wants to choose, and stuff like that. But the problem I found with the Druid is that I wanted to be, a pet build. Like I actually chose Druid first, and I wanted to just focus on having companions, wolves, ravens. But that wasn't viable. I was like, I was absolutely shit and getting my ass kicked. So I decided to go with Necromancer because I wanted to play, a minion build, and the Druid just wasn't viable for that. If you go the Druid, you pretty much have to be a mix of choosing a companion and then going the rest on spells. Sorry, I just wanted to...
No, you're good, you're good. I was just having a little bit of mango. What's it called? I can't quite remember exactly what character I had gone with, but what I do remember is I think it definitely wasn't a minion build. I think it was something where I had to... what I mostly remember is I was going down basically the lightning path, or what you would do is we would summon a bolt of lightning down, and you can make it...
That's probably the sorcerer.
It probably was. It probably was, now that I think about it. But I can't quite remember exactly what it was. That was the problem. Well, still, it was fun for while it lasted. Will I return to it? Possibly.
I mean, I don't think it's as good as Path of Exile if you want a hardcore experience. It's still a bit casual. Diablo is kind of considered the casual ARPG, whereas Path of Exile, for example, I've got 2,000 hours in that, and there is still so much that I don't know about the game. That it's kind of like EVE Online, with how you basically need to take courses. You basically need to take courses to understand how the game works. It's like that with Path of Exile too. Sorry, what did you say?
Was it Evo Online or something along those lines? That you're
Yeah,
talking
EVE
about?
Online, the big immersive space game.
That's the
Space
one where
MMO.
when they open a new planet, people immediately rush in, right?
I don't know that much about it. I played it for a couple months and found it really intriguing. And the fact that some of your skills, like if you want to, level up a skill, you actually have to wait literal months for that skill to level up. Like you're like,
God.
okay, I'll choose this skill to level up. It will take 3 months of real time. And
You see,
then the
no, that's
next
dedication.
rank will take 6 months of real time, and then maybe a year and a half of real time. That's how intense it gets in Eve Online with
Yeah, see,
skill training.
I don't know if I can do that, or I can just,
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously people in Eve Online who have committed their whole lives to it, and
just
like
imagine, one day like Eve Online goes down, nobody knows why, and like, no, my life's
yeah,
work.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, like there's people in that game that are rich in game, and that they could probably sell their assets in that game for like $100,000 or something if they wanted. That's how that's how serious a
I
lot
feel
of
like
people
it's got to
take
be
that
more.
game.
I feel like it's got to be more. Like
Yeah, it
seriously, there's
probably is. Sorry, I've just got to take a call. Sorry.
no. You're good. You're good. You're good. I'm just
Hello?
looking at my. I'm just talking right here. I'm just
Yeah.
looking at my. What is it? Diablo 4. There it is. What did
I
I
was just wondering
play?
if you were wanting me to come in early or something.
I can't quite remember, but I remember it was something.
To pay.
Where does my download manager show? No. Pause World of War. Well, you know what? Screw it. Update World of Warcraft. Update. Go, go, go. What other games do they have? Classic. Gross. Overwatch. Gross. Black Ops. That was Cold War. Gross. Modern Warfare. Warzone. Gross. My God, $70. It's not bad. Let's see. EVE Online. There it is. Only 145 hours. How are you ever going to level up? Can't,
It was the
can't level up with only
Monday,
145
so it was
hours. You're going to
like
be
finished
poor
at
forever.
6:30. Store closed at 6, and I
You know
stayed
what?
till 30.
I'm going to run and pee. I'll be right back, guys.
Game over.
Okay, I have returned. I am amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Well, let's see.
Yeah.
I really, really.
Maybe I missed some stuff.
That's it. RimWorld is pretty good. So was Stellaris. Stellaris is fun, but I haven't played much of it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What else is there?
Okay.
I know I saw Civ 6 in here somewhere. Where are you? Civ 5. The heck? There it is. Duh. Speaking of which, I wonder how many hours I have played in Civ 6. Too many.
All right.
But how many? Oh, free game.
Mm-hmm.
Free game. Come on, load. Stupid thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm.
All right. Bye.
Free game.
Oh God damn it, man! My boss talks way My boss talks way more than is necessary to say very small amount of things. Sorry about that. That was my boss.
I was just entertaining the masses.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully my voice didn't come through so much. I just tried to talk away from the mic.
Came in a little bit, but nothing like too bad.
Yeah. It just sucks that my boss had to call me during this podcast.
I don't know. I feel like it adds a little bit of flavor. Why not? Hey, do you like guacamole?
I guess I'll get to hear what you're talking about while I was gone.
Oh, I want to go pee. So hopefully you guys get to hear that. Hopefully my microphone picked that up. I don't think it did, but hopefully one can dream.
If you're into that, if that's your kink.
Oh, I'm definitely going to yuck that yum. Sorry. No, but anyway. What's it called? Do you have a Epic Game Store?
Yep, yeah. I've been
giving away free guacamole in the lobby.
Yeah, I've been accepting my free games, but the only games that I played on it are Kingdom Hearts 3. That's when I first downloaded Epic because it was an offer, and Darkest Dungeon 2. And all the free games that I've accepted, I haven't played or whatever. I guess I'm just collecting them just in case I want them someday.
That's pretty much why I'm doing it.
But yeah, I don't really like the Epic Store. I think it's, it's worse than Steam. And it seems like they're really desperate to try to get people to use it by offering these free games. And it's annoying when there's an exclusive on there, like Kingdom Hearts 3 and Darkest Dungeon 2 beta was exclusive to Epic Store. But yeah, I got it just for those.
If you had one of these stores too, like, you'd probably be giving away free stuff to try and get people in too.
Yeah.
I know I would.
Yeah, that reminds me of the other thing that I'm frustrated with. I'm really hyped for Final Fantasy 16, but they're only releasing it on PS5 until like a year or so because of an exclusive deal. So, and I've only got an Xbox and computer, so I've got no way to play Final Fantasy 16, which, sucks ass.
Wait, so they're only releasing Final Fantasy 16 on what?
On PlayStation.
Oh. Why not just use an emulator?
Possibly, but I guess maybe.
Maybe maybe something like that could work.
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
that's how most people played Zelda, so that they could get 60 frames and and 480p.
I haven't. Yeah, 480p.
So, sorry, my brain's a bit scrambled.
Well, I mean, I could
Is it?
imagine. Well, the way
4K,
I'm thinking about
4K, just 4K.
Okay.
That's what they
I
call it.
thought 480p. I was like, wow, is that that's the extent to which you can go? Nice. What's it called? Yeah, I'm just going through my games. Like, holy crap, they really
I
did.
don't suppose you
They gave
have
a
a
lot of
Switch?
games. I do not. I put my money into the Steam Deck.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but
I
yeah, I
liked it
still
well
like
enough.
my Nintendo exclusives occasionally. You know, Zelda, Mario.
Oh, my buddy freaking loves the Nintendo exclusives. Not all of them,
Yeah.
but
The whole reason I bought a Switch, like I bought a Switch when Smash Bros. Ultimate came out,
mhm.
because you know that's a big game for me.
Right.
Although I probably haven't gotten as much out of Ultimate as I would have liked, because back in the days of Brawl and Melee,
Uh-huh.
basically, you know, I was high school then, and also a little bit of, you know, my first years of work, and me and my friends would play Smash Bros. Brawl every single weekend without fail for like probably 5 years. We just play Smash Bros. Every weekend, and you'd probably see hours higher on that than I have on Path of Exile overall. You know.
My buddies used to love doing the exact same thing. Like
Yeah.
we would all just get together. We'd have tournaments basically. We just have tournaments.
Yeah.
And it was at this point we were just barely getting into community college. So pretty much every night. My buddy was just mainly working at the time. And so two of us were at community college. No, three of us were at community college. The other one was only working. So we literally just would run Smash Tournament all night basically. It was so much freaking fun. Had the best time of our lives because we also did other things. Like I remember this one time we were jumping into a. So my buddy lived in a gated community, and right next to this gated community was another community, a golf course. That golf course was open to the public. Everyone can go on it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we jumped the fence to get in there, and one night my smallest buddy jumps first. Our fourth friend wasn't there. I jumped second, and then our big buddy's going last. And as soon as I jump the fence, like as soon as I get my ass over it, we hear "Hey!" And my first friend books it into the golf course. I hide behind a bush, and my other buddy is just chilling up there because he had managed to make it up when they yelled, but he just got frozen. He just decided not to do anything for a second, and he's like, "I'm gonna call the cops. What are you guys doing?" He's like, "We're just heading out to go see the golf course." He's like, "I'm calling the cops." He's like, well, "All right then." He didn't show his face or anything, and he just jumped over the fence. And so then at that point, we were like, dude, god damn it, now we got to deal with this. So we decided to go the long way around. We walk, dude, it took us like an hour and a half to go less than a mile. Because we crawled, we didn't crawl. We would crawl at some places where the fences were really low and people can see outside. But we basically just walked a long about way back to his place. It was fun, don't get me wrong, but that was just one of the shenanigans that we got up to. Because we would go to that stupid golf course all the time. Like I remember this one time, there was this place where you can climb up onto the roof of the showers, not the showers, the roof of the bathrooms. So we just climbed up there and we were chilling. We got a few beers, just chilling, hanging out. And then by the time I was done,
me and my mates would basically just hang out at Hungry Jack's, which is what we call Burger King in Australia, and they had unlimited refills. So we would get a small cup of Coke, and then we'd just keep refilling it and sit there for 3 hours.
just hanging out, shooting the shit.
$1.50 of a cup of Coke. And that got me quite. That's probably when I started to get fat. When I was doing that.
Yeah, Coke will do that to you.
After I stopped doing Taekwondo. Stopped doing taekwondo, stopped exercising, and started going to Hungry Jack's and drinking way too much Coca-Cola.
Well, when you're hanging out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's it called? I remember, dude, my buddy could eat. I went to go visit him this one time, right? Like 2 years ago, I went to go visit him. He moved out to Missouri. And at the time, I was eating a lot less. I could have like half a sandwich, right?
Yeah.
The dude downed 4 of those, not Wendy's. What's the one? Arby's. Arby's, like, ham sandwich, cheesy, whatever the heck's. Holy crap. I was looking at him like, bro, that's 4 sandwiches, like, double-deckered. Like, that's a lot. He's like, yeah, I know, man, shut up. I was like, God damn, dude. And then he finished his fries and his Coke, and I was like, God damn. Like, where are you storing this all, man?
Yeah. I remember my mates used to make fun of how I put pepper on everything. Pepper on my chips. And they'd say, did you want some chips with your pepper?
Yeah. I like pepper. I like, especially on like fries and stuff. Pepper's
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
bomb. Yeah. I use it mostly now as like a not a garnish, like a like just regular, like any other seasoning. You know what I mean? I don't overdo it with the pepper. I used to do it overdo it a bit with the pepper, but not
did
that
you
much.
have
I wouldn't put it on chips.
So did you have a main on Smash Bros?
Lucario.
Oh, yep. Yeah.
Yep. Lucario.
My
fully
secret
trash, but-
weapon was usually Luigi or Kirby. But
I
I would like try out pretty much every character, and I would main someone for like I would use a lot of different characters. However, what pissed me off when I was playing with my friend, that every weekend, my 2 friends, they would always go Roy and Captain Falcon every time. So it got a bit boring that I was the only one changing it up, and that they were always going Captain Falcon and Roy. Maybe Samus sometimes. That was like all they played. So it was kind of understandable that they got better at the game than me, because they were only learning to use one character.
Right. Well, they were using their main or their pocket pick.
Yeah.
I remember my buddy. He got really good with who was it? Oh, I can't even remember the names at this point. But he wasn't using Roy. He was using one of the other Link. He used Link a lot.
Yeah.
The Toon Link. He got really good with that one. Jigglypuff, my other buddy, played that one. Dude, it was so freaking annoying because he could float, like literally just float around the stupid. He would literally just float around the stupid stage.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know how to
I like to
dodge,
yeah. Olim is pretty good to troll people too, with his range.
yeah.
He's got the range smash attacks.
Oh my goodness, I still remember. What was it? I think we had like 10 people, a 10 people tournament one time. Went to my buddy's house and we were just screaming, like, because we were having a great time, right? But his parents were literally like 10 feet away in the other room. And we were just making such a ruckus that they just burst in the door like, guys, we are trying to sleep. And that kind of killed the party for a little bit. And then there was other time it was at my buddy's bachelor party, right? So for that time, I remember I brought cigars to that party. I thought, oh, everyone will like a little bit of tobacco. Everyone will like, enjoy a nice good cigar, a big fatty. Nobody wanted it. I was like, okay, well, whatever. I only spent $8 on this, but I spent $8 that I didn't have to. Nice. And then it got so loud because we also had a Smash tournament. There was drinks flying everywhere. I don't mean like literally flying, but like I remember there was like 5 toasts that night. Everyone was it's California, so everyone was smoking weed. And then
yeah.
what's it called? There was this guy that got so sick, they were talking to him and he just turned around and threw up immediately. And then not only that, but so it got to the point where it was so loud, right? It's so loud that the neighbors came in and they're like, guys, seriously, it's like it's midnight. I get you're trying to have a party and we don't mind, but God, keep it down a little bit. And thankfully they were pretty cool because this was also a gated community. So it was one of those things like they could really cause a bit of a ruckus if they wanted to. But not only that, but their acquaintances more than anything, but they were pretty cool too. Their parents, they were just very relaxed, kind of modern parents, I guess you could say, modernity. Like, oh, they're just kids having their fun. We'd rather have you drink here than out at some random person's house. You're always welcome to just sleep outside or sleep in here, whatever. So it got loud. Everyone was inebriated in some way or another. It was just... That night was a lot of fun. I didn't do too much myself, mostly because I had to drive home that night. So I kind of put a tap on everything. I was like, hey, sorry guys. I'll have a few drinks. I'll have the obligatory good luck shot. But that's kind of where I cut it because I didn't want to risk getting a DUI. Doesn't exactly sound fun. I remember the dude, oh my God, that guy that got sick, it was so funny because as soon as he got sick, he literally fell asleep. He was talking to someone like nothing was the problem, got sick, then he fell asleep.
Yeah, man, I've had some weird experiences, with losing my memory when I get drunk and
a blackout.
Yeah, one time I blacked out and I woke up with my finger broken. So my thumb broken, actually. And I full on had to go to hospital and full on had to get a cast on my thumb for 3 months. I was worried I'd never be able to play video games again.
What the hell did you do?
I have no idea. I don't remember. I literally remember, just getting so drunk, passing out, and then waking up with this mangled thumb. And then I went to hospital and it took 3 months before I could get the cast off, and then it took a bit more time for me to get strength in my thumb back.
Yeah, that sounds like it would happen.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty horrid. Actually, at that Winnie City PonyCon, recently...
Just one more thing.
What's up?
What I remember about that is that it was when Fire Emblem Three Houses came out. Because I remember I was playing that because it was a turn-based game, so it was one of the few games that I could play while my thumb was still healing, because I was playing it with just my forefinger on the joystick and stuff. So I just thought that was an interesting little
Well, I mean, that's how you do it sometimes, though. Especially with a broken thumb, It's all right, well, I can still play this game at least. Yeah.
Thankfully, turn-based game.
What's it called? One of the things that I right. Where was I going with this? Winnie City PonyCon. I made a friend there, right? And he was going to go to that gala thing that they always run. They called it a luau this year. Last second, they changed it to a luau instead of a gala. But I said, screw it. I'll get a ticket. It's only $20. They give you food. You can buy a drink if you want it, etc. And while I was there, everyone started dancing. So I was like, screw it. I told my buddy, let's go out to the dance floor. He didn't want to, so I said, whatever, I'll go by myself. And at some point, we're all dancing. We're all having a great time. And I think it was one of those do-si-do dances, where you spin your partner around and whatnot. And so this huge dude, I said, screw it. Neither of us got a partner. Let's just do-si-do. And my God, I went to go high five him afterwards. I just jammed my ring finger right into his hand. I thought I broke it, actually. So at first, it was fine. At first, it was like, ow, this hurts, but there's no problem, right? And then after that, I went to a room party. After the room party, I got blitzed enough that I was like, all right, nothing hurts. I'm good. I'll be fine. I wake up the next morning in my hotel room, and I look at my finger, and dude, the stupid thing's as fat as my thumb is. So I was like, something's wrong here. I think I might have broken it. But I say, whatever. I still have another full 2 days of con left, or another Yeah, full 2 days of con left. This happened on Friday night, I believe. So I said, I'll just, chill out. I'll wait. And by that night, I could barely even move my finger. Like, I can still move it and everything. I can still close it. This happened only like 2 weeks ago, mind you. Like, now I've gotten much more control of it. But at the time, I can barely move it downwards without it, like, flaring up in pain. My God. Yeah, I was not expecting that, because what really worried me was the fact that my finger was the size of my thumb. I was like, that's not good. It should not be swelling like that. But I also wasn't about to let that ruin my fun.
Yeah.
I was like,
I went to one pony convention. I had to go to Adelaide for it, which I had to go on a flight for, and I was basically on unemployment, and I was saving up the money from doing some extra work with Uber Eats.
makes sense.
So yeah, it was took a lot of effort to get the money that I needed to go there. So anyway, I took the cheapest options possible, and I got a hostel, right?
Right.
Backpackers hostel, and well, I was already nervous about the event to begin with, so I didn't get much sleep. So by the time I got there, I was probably 20 hours without sleep. And I was meant to sleep there at the hostel for the convention the next day. But of course, what you learn is that at a hostel, sleep isn't possible because people are there to, they probably paid like $15 to have a place for like homeless or like either homeless people to have a place to have a roof over their head, or people go there to party. So
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
yeah, so at this hostel, people were just partying all night, and I didn't get any sleep. So basically, my con experience was a bit of a disaster because by the time I got there, I was 40 hours without sleep, and I was basically just a zombie, just like milling around, with like a frown on my face, kind of trying to enjoy what was happening, but not really being able to take it in. And it was a bit of a disaster socially because I was like slurring as if I was drunk, but it was just because I was so tired. And it was a bit of a miserable experience because I was kind of just experiencing the whole con in the haze of just sleeplessness.
I mean, at least it seemed like a dreamlike state, right?
Yeah, I guess so. So then I got like 2 hours sleep that night, luckily. But yeah, it wasn't really enough to not end up at the next day at nearly 60 hours without sleep. So
God.
I had another awful day, and unfortunately, that was my only con going experience.
What's it called?
Probably because I decided to stay at a hostel was what ruined it all for me.
I know, actually, I want to sign back up for it. Instacart. I don't know if you guys have that over in Australia.
Haven't heard of it.
Okay, so Instacart's basically the one where you can, it's an app where you can shop for people.
Oh yeah.
And you're able to make a decent amount of money with it. I think my first week I made like around $700, maybe. So doing something like that, and I'm probably going to start doing it again for extra cash so I can start paying down some of my credit card bills. Doing that though, it really does help. It really does help. With that specific app is what I mean, because for me that really did help in the sense that it was an extra boost of cash when I needed it at the time. This was at the beginning of the coronavirus. So for me, it was like, boom, exactly when I needed it. Because I lost my stupid restaurant job. I was pissed. I had just gone into a nicer job, a nicer restaurant, and like 4 months into it, I got screwed. But one of the things that for me, the first con I went to was BabsCon up here in the Bay Area for me, in the California Bay Area. So I'm not gonna lie. That first night that I was there, I made a few friends. I went to one of the room parties, and we all had drinks, and I was gonna cut it. But then I just asked my buddy, I was like, you know, I'm just gonna be, I asked the guy that I just met there. I was like, you know, I'm just gonna be straight up. Can I crash on your couch? You know, because the hotel that they stayed in, or that these cons are usually held in, they typically have couches.
Yeah.
And so I just asked him, can I stay on your couch so I can continue partying tonight? And he's like, yeah, why not? Screw it. And I gave him like $60 for the room, which it wasn't half. It was less than half. I know that for a fact. But he's like, dude, $60. It's cool. Save up for, you know, he got to save some cash on the hotel room that he wasn't expecting. And then we still got to hang out the next day on top of that. So, you know, something like that, if you can find someone that already has a room you can share cheaply with, like, that's what actually, funny enough, that same guy that I went to BabsCon with, we're going to Everfree Northwest now, and we're going to just split the room 50-50. So, you know, little ways like that, if you can, those are the best ways to kind of save on some cash, because hell, even if you get like 4 friends involved, that's a fourth of the room right there that you're responsible for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of hope I get an opportunity to go to another con sometime, but yeah, there's probably not going to be any more in Australia, probably.
You don't think so?
Don't know. I mean, I've had a bit of a falling out with the local Brony community, which I could probably tell you the story of sometime, but it's a bit of a long one, and
Feel free to.
Yeah, maybe next episode I could go into that, because it's a pretty long story, but just the short version is that I had a bit of a falling out with the local Brony community from starting to go to parties and stuff, like, you know, completely sourced, you know, completely wasted, and I started to like really embarrass myself, and I basically learned that I'm an extremely bad drunk, and it was actually caused more from my behavior on their Discord group more than in person that really got them pissed off at me. You know, when I'd get drunk, I was actually, like, when I get drunk in person, I'm at least reserved enough that I don't do anything too stupid. But when I'm on Discord drunk and I'm just typing and not worrying about being face to face with people, I was absolutely exploding, like, in their communities, and just rambling. And like, if I read it back when I'm sober, I'm like cringe at myself, and I don't want to read it. I don't want to remember what happened. And in my own memory, I blacked out and I don't even know what happened. So stuff like that.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, and after enough of stuff like that, I basically got kicked out of the local Brony community. And so, for that reason, it's probably not likely I'd even be welcome to another con. Like, especially if I have to try to arrange to, you know, go with people in the local Perth community. Because, I'm basically banned as a Brony locally from all those shenanigans. Yeah, mostly from Discord. The drunkenness in public wasn't, you know, was relatively forgivable, but the drunkenness on Discord, just typing with a keyboard, was what got me in huge trouble.
I mean, at that point, it's like one of those things where you just kind of, at least, you know, if I were you, I'd just avoid the drink. I'd just avoid the alcohol, because I mean, if you're doing it in person is probably completely different, in the sense that if you're able to go and talk to them and be like, yeah, you know what, I'm just trying to control my drinking, they'll probably be more understanding and more willing to forgive, especially if you show, like, you know, some remorse. It's just, then you have to also, you know, follow that through and not do it at home and be on their Discord blowing them up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, since I've already gone so much into the story, might as well finish it off. But basically, in 2018, like, that happened shortly after the con, right? Like, I felt a bit embarrassed by the fact that at the con I was basically a zombie and I didn't feel like anyone liked me, and that I didn't do very well socially. But, you know, I was doing okay socially at meetups and stuff. You know, like, I didn't go to every meetup drunk. But anyway, what happened yeah, what happened was I had a bit of a blow up on Discord a little bit after the con, and that's when they decided to. Oh my god, another call. Sorry, from my
You're
boss.
good. You're good.
All right, I'll be back in a sec.
All right.
Hello.
I farted. Oh no. It's gonna stink. All right, let's see. I'm signing up. Oh my god, I'm signing up.
I seem to have just missed the call. I'll call him back later, hopefully. I've still got like 6 hours till I got to be at work. Oh, there it is again. Hang on.
Oof, good luck.
Hello. What's up?
Oh my god. I gotta update my ID. Stupid thing. Alright, time to find my ID. Oh boy, where did you go? Ooh. A chipperino.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Yeah, possibly. I'm just
Delicious.
something at the moment. I'm like literally recording with a friend online, so.
Delicious. So everyone, welcome to my review on Doritos Cool
Maybe
Ranch.
send me a text so I can read what I need to do for clocking out.
Got a nice crisp crunch.
Yeah.
This bag actually came from Costco. Absolutely amazing.
Probably in another
Great.
hour. I should wrap up what I'm doing. Okay, thanks. Bye.
It sounds like he's going to have to go to work soon, like in an hour and a half maybe.
All right, sorry about that.
Working is fun.
Yeah.
Just doing a little commentary on Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. So I'll just continue what I was saying.
Right.
So anyway, in 2018, I got banned from the local Brony community. Possibly it was just temporary at first, like they felt like they wanted a break from me. But what happened was that they banned me at the one time when my mum was visiting, and that there was absolutely no way I was going to be, drinking anything. And I felt like, and they said, "Oh no, you can't come to this event." It was basically, like a pub meetup, but I wasn't going to be drinking or anything. And I think basically that's when I felt, the huge rejection and stuff. And basically after that happened, for the next 3 years, I swore off social interaction completely.
Oi.
So like 3 full years from 2018 to the start of 2021, I literally talked to no one, had no friends, not even online. I just played video games and just kept to myself. And I even tried to, basically quit the fandom, like just not involve myself or be interested in anything related to ponies, because it reminded me of the trauma of being socially ostracized, and the thought that friendship is painful, and
Well, it
that
is.
it's all full of betrayal and all that sort of stuff. So it wasn't until 2021 in January that I finally decided to start doing the audiobooks again and start making regular online content. And then I started joining Discord groups and making friends again online, getting back involved with the Brony community online. So, that's basically the story of what happened with the local Brony community with me. And
I mean, now that some...
Yeah, I've finally been back socializing with people for the last 2 years, and been building myself back up and my self confidence and that sort of stuff.
What's it called? Time heals wounds, man. If you were to give it another chance, as far as going to local meetups and stuff like that, I'm sure if you were to meet with these people privately first before anything like that, talk to them, and tell them like, hey, you know what, I'm bettering myself. Like, the biggest thing is, dude, literally avoid the drink. Like, that really does seem to be the biggest problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because alcohol in general isn't good. And when you have that kind of issue, it's like you can't have one. That's the problem. It's like with me with food. If I have one chip, I'm not having one chip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as soon as I start eating one thing, like I'll give you an example. If I go to McDonald's once, it's not going to be just once. It just restarts my addiction, basically. And that's other things that can happen like that is similar with like alcohol, drugs, anything that gives you like that dopamine rush. It literally just, you do it once, and it's not just that once. It always ends up spiraling.
Yeah.
So that's kind of and that's always the hardest part about it, is realizing like, hey, you know what? Not only is it an issue for me, but it's an issue that I can't partake at all, basically. Because once you partake once, it just restarts the addiction. Because it's literally just like, oh, what's the problem with having one beer? Nothing, right? But when you have that issue where it just doesn't turn into one.
Yeah, well, for me,
what's two?
Like, I'm someone that, doesn't see the point in one drink, because I don't drink alcohol for the taste. I drink it for the effect.
Exactly.
So one beer, is pointless.
Well, I mean, that's true, but that's also kind of part of the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, I'm working on it. I'm currently 2 months sober, I think.
Good work.
And going to work, having a job is helping to, like, especially since they started to split up my days off. It's now too risky for me to try to drink when I've only got 2 days off at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Because
last thing you need is to let it seep into the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, that's something like that. You have to fill your time. You know what I mean? Whether it be with Ponies, whether it be with other computer-based games, something that gives you a bit more stimulation. Like,
yeah,
that
and I mean,
this,
these projects that I'm doing with mystery pony fiction is one of my main motivations not to drink, because that's not something that I can do when I'm drinking.
Right. Well, I mean, you're gonna end up like you were at that con.
Yeah, exactly.
Just slur. You're gonna slur your words as though you only had 2 hours of rest in the last 40 hours.
Yeah, and also video games. Video games is something I can't do drunk anymore.
Really?
So, yeah. Yeah,
I definitely know that feeling.
Because I don't have the patience for it when I'm drunk. Like, when I'm drunk, I want fast, quick entertainment. So, I want to watch 20-minute videos on YouTube and stuff. Whereas a game, it requires too much patience for me to, play a game while I'm drunk.
Yeah.
At least it's gotten to that point for me. Like I've gradually become a very different kind of drunk. When I used to back when I was first drinking, I'd play WoW while drinking, and it wouldn't affect me too much, like my motor skills or anything. But like as I've gone on, if I'm drinking, I want to be doing something that doesn't require motor skills, and it is like, quick, fast content, so I can get the most out of my buzz, rather than just like sitting there playing a game that requires grinding or, repetitive tasks. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I know exactly what you mean. It's one of those things, you're literally looking for that dopamine rush. That's what it is.
Exactly. That's the whole reason I'm drinking.
Hit.
So sitting and playing a slow video game isn't really giving it to me.
Yeah, no, I definitely know the feeling. It's one of those things where when it's a slow game, if you're inebriated in any way, it's like, come on, get to the action already. I don't care about the story. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
Yeah, and it's also just that my mindset has kind of ended up like that. Like another thing is that I only really enjoy listening to music when I'm drunk. When I'm sober, I just want to listen to podcasts. Because when I'm drinking, there's more of that emotional rush from the music in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, it's... What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Whereas when I'm sober, I just, want sort of, to hear people having a conversation or whatever.
For me, it's a mix of well, how should I put it? I'm mostly sober, so for me, I always just either listen to podcasts or music. That's the biggest thing. I just like singing. I like singing along with it. It's fun. That's what I like to do. So for me,
I'm sure most people do, but they don't necessarily sound good. They
not me.
like to do
I
it in
sound
private.
amazing.
Okay, you'll have to show us sometime.
Oh, maybe one of these podcasts. I'll just open up with the theme.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I'll do. We'll make a theme. I'll sing it. I'll be off key and everything. It'll be beautiful.
Awesome.
Oh man. So, did I hear you have to go to work at some point tonight? Like you said 6 hours, but it sounds like your boss called you for a bit sooner than that. What happened there?
There's just some stuff going on with my pay.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just they're trying to sort that out because they paid me normal pay when I was supposed to get public holiday pay, and so they're trying to sort that out.
oh, is it like basically double time and a half or something?
Yeah, and because of certain things, they had trouble recording it properly. So he's getting back to me about that, and
Sue them.
yeah, he doesn't normally call me this often, but yeah, I don't have to work until 4:30 tonight, and it's currently 11:30 a.m.
Oh, that ain't bad at all.
Yeah, so I'll probably be heading to work by 3 o'clock or 3:30.
What is it? Retail? Restaurant?
It's pushing trolleys at a supermarket.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just push trolleys back in the store and that stuff. I enjoy the job because I'm not a very social person. I don't really enjoy I enjoy just having my headphones on and listening to podcasts. And although I can't do that at work because I've got to be aware of my surroundings, I enjoy my job because it's just physical exercise. So I'm getting the replacement for a gym membership, and I don't have to interact with other people too much other than to tell them where the toilet is. That's about all the actual customer service I need to do. So.
Yeah, try getting like an office job. You could be able to you'd be able to listen to podcasts while you're doing your own work. And at least for me, generally speaking, I don't have to interact with people if on a day where I do need to, I'll interact with someone like every hour.
Yeah.
Like every hour there's going to be more than one person. But on a regular day, I'm just kind of talking to people if you're not sharing an office space with someone, you're probably only going to talk to them maybe once in a 2-hour period. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I had previous experience in retail. I used to be a computer salesperson way back when I was your age. And I don't know. My social skills have just kind of dwindled since then, and I kind of hate talking to people. As part of my job. I just, want to be able to do some sort of task on my own and just zone out.
Have you ever heard of a YouTube channel called Charisma on Command?
I think that's I've been forced to watch a few of them. They've shown up in my algorithm.
You've been forced to watch a few of them?
Well, that's what the algorithm does. I never used to watch Mudaha, some ordinary gamers until it started spamming in my
in your recommended box.
Yeah, exactly. And I did end up subscribing to him, but I never would have watched him unless he was recommended, I guess.
Oh, I mean,
now I pretty much listen to him every morning for that little bit of tech news each morning.
What's it called? I definitely personally recommend them. They help a lot, in my opinion. Charisma on Command, because it helps you. It helps you think about little things, little actions that you take that you may not think. You might think it's innocuous, but other people will genuinely notice that you wouldn't think they would.
Yeah, I have read a whole novel about social interaction and what's it called? How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That's a good book. That's a really good book. I haven't read it yet, but I want to.
I mean, like when people get to know me, they say that I'm quite charismatic and I'm a joy to hang around with. But I don't necessarily enjoy it myself. Like it's draining to socially interact for me. You know, I'm like, oh, thank F that's over with. I can be on my own again.
Right, right.
But yeah, not normally. You know, people say, oh yeah, he's pretty fun to hang out with or whatever.
Well, I mean, what it really is just translating that out to a broader sense. Basically,
Yeah,
being
and
able
there's
to
also the
pull
fact
that
that
out
I
of
am.
command.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that I am an introvert by nature, and I just enjoy my time alone more than with other
Right.
people. I'm one of those sort of people.
No, yeah, I mean that definitely is going to play a role in it, especially
Yeah,
especially if you're already introverted. Like, there's no reason. I
and
would
had
imagine
some
in your mind,
social
you're like, eh.
and had some social trauma in 2018 too.
Right, right. But I mean, at the same time, it's one of those things that you can't let define you. You know,
Oh yeah,
eventually you
but
have to get back in the saddle, as it were.
yeah, that's what I'm trying to do now by doing the stuff that I'm doing now. But also there's probably also lingering social trauma from when I was in high school and middle school and getting bullied relentlessly. So you know
Right, right.
I've got quite a lot of social trauma in my life in general, which makes it hard for me to trust people. I kind of get an automatic bad vibe about people, and just in general, like in my real life, I kind of haven't really in real life I haven't tried to socialize very much again. Like I haven't. I tend to just see my workmates as just people that I interact with just to be civil in the workplace. But I don't really socialize with them. I don't really get to know them or care about their personal lives.
I mean, for the most
Um,
part, that is supposed to kind of be work. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I get it. I understand making friends at work. Like, I made friends at work. It's just one of those things that happens. You're with these people 8 hours a day, but at the same time, there's quite a few people that just prefer to keep work and personal
yeah,
life separate. It's not, but
yeah.
it's not
But it's
uncommon.
all. It's not just that. Like I haven't ever gone out to parties again or tried to get into any other communities like I used to with the Brony community.
Hmm.
Ever since I was socially ostracized. So yeah, just being online for socializing in when I feel like it, and in real life I'm pretty much still just as private, still saying pretty private.
Well, for me, the way I see it is exposure therapy is always a good way to mitigate those things. You know,
Yeah,
because once you've already seen that you can conquer a small piece of it, you can slowly take more and more bites out of it. It's like salami slicing. It's
yeah.
like a
So
salami slicing tactic. The further out you get, like, oh wow, you look back and then suddenly you realize, hey, I'm like 10 slices into this stupid thing.
yeah, and doing this podcast is part of my exposure therapy. You know, getting
Hmm.
back out there.
Right, right. And hey, you're getting it going.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll work out.
Well, I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah, and oh man, I really enjoy going into those streams with Jackbox and stuff.
Oh yeah, those are fun. Those are fun. I got
Yeah,
Jackbox just for that.
yeah.
Because I remember, were you there when I hosted one, like, I think it was 3 weeks ago or so, 4 weeks ago, maybe
Yeah,
a month ago?
yeah. I was there for one. That's when I first met you. When you replaced Scarlet when Scarlet couldn't do it. You're like
Scarlet
new to the
2.0,
community.
new and
Yeah,
improved.
yeah. The Scarlet bot.
Oh yeah, that's what I am, the Scarlet bot. Oh man.
But yeah, like I've been joining Scarlet streams for a while, and getting back into the swing of being social again.
Well, that's how you do it.
Yeah,
Actually,
usually through
there's another one
Jackbox or
tomorrow, isn't
whatever
there?
games we're playing then. Possibly.
Yeah, I never know what's gonna happen because I know he doesn't have good internet still.
Yeah, apparently, his internet sucks now, so he can't do a lot of what he used to. You might need to, become the Scarlet 2.0 of the server.
I'll do it, and I'll stream the whole thing.
Yeah. Sounds good.
I, I'm just thinking. I'm just thinking the Discord, the stupid name. Like, what are we gonna name the stream? Fetus Deletus. Okay.
Yeah, like yeah. Well, once I've got more practice and stuff, there's also the fact that I'm doing let's plays of games occasionally. It's another way that I'm trying to get more social, more confident in just rambling on. Because I see these people streaming on Twitch or whatever, and all they're doing is just rambling on, stating exactly what's happening in the game, just stating the obvious, and they somehow are making bank. So maybe I could do that someday. Just ramble while I'm playing video games, and people will somehow find it entertaining. That's
Well,
the dream.
sometimes people just need that, man.
Yeah. So yeah, like as I get better at this, and maybe I'd eventually actually start doing this podcast as a live stream. When I get more confident, and I know how to set things up so I can have the chat box in the right and the my screen showing stuff on the web browser in this corner and your video in the other corner.
I mean, that's how you do it. You slowly get it. You work it up, basically.
Yeah.
And that's how I have it now. Just me in the corner and the rest of the screen.
Yeah. So
Usually
I'll probably be getting you to send me the video that you've recorded of this conversation.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
How are we gonna do that, by the way? Email or just through Discord? Do you think it'll be I hope it's not gonna be too big. Hot damn.
Well, I've got a Mediafire. I mean, I can send you things with Mediafire, but because I've got a premium Mediafire account, but I don't know, we'd figure out something like Dropbox or something.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can figure something out. I'm hoping. I mean, I don't even know how long this is gonna. Not how long. How many gigabytes this is gonna be.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, was it? I've done this before. I think is it 1 hour 6 gigabytes? I think maybe something like that. So maybe it's gonna be like 12 gigs, 12 gigs, jigs, bigs, sigs.
Yeah. Well,
I got
the
another one, but I
other.
don't want to get canceled.
So we probably shouldn't try to go longer than 2 hours, and we're at like 1:46 at the moment. But I was wondering what you thought about Starfield that's coming up. The
Starfield?
game. Yeah.
I don't. Let me see. Starfield. I don't remember that one.
Oh, really? Well, in the gaming Discord,
Oh.
Starfield's the big talk at the moment.
Yeah, actually, I do.
This next bigger open world.
Yeah, my buddy was
RPG.
actually telling me about this one. Now that I'm seeing it, it's familiar.
Yeah.
It's.
I just watched a bit of the Starfield Direct before I turned on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the promises it's making are very good, but so were No Man's Skies.
Right.
No Man's Skies promises, so take it with a grain of salt. But it is Bethesda, and that they did excellent work with things like Fallout and Skyrim. So
Hey,
Starfield is probably going to be, another really good entry.
I'm just gonna go ahead and put this on the screen real quick. Like, hey, wait a minute. Why didn't they put Fallout 76 here? Come on, guys. Why not? They put from the award-winning creators of Skyrim and Fallout 4. Where's Fallout 76? Come on, guys.
I don't think that. Well, that had a very controversial start. I remember how people were just picking that apart with all the glitches and it started off very terrible. So they probably didn't necessarily want to attach their name to that one in particular.
Yeah, I don't think they would.
I suppose it has
even now it's still got. That's what I've heard, that it's at least improved, but it kind of already poisoned the well with me. I don't know if I'm gonna go back to it at all.
A funny meme that I often see is how Skyrim has now existed. Just since the original Skyrim, it's now existed for like an entire generation. You know,
Well, like 20
retro
years or
games.
something?
Yeah, retro games is the original Skyrim. Then next up, you got Skyrim Game of the Year edition. A couple years later, and then another couple years, you got Skyrim Legendary Edition.
Oh,
like,
so they're just making
I
brand new
imagine,
editions.
I imagine for you in particular, Skyrim's probably existed for your entire lifetime.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember a time before.
Before
I don't
Skyrim.
remember. Yeah, I don't remember a time before Skyrim. But then again, I only learned about it when I was like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
A fun game that me and my buddies would play for a good little while, and we still play. Well, we haven't played it recently, but
Yeah. I mean, I got a
it's
couple hundred hours out of it, multiple times.
not a Skyrim, but a GTFO.
GTFO, is that?
So that's basically a game where you get sent down into like a disease-ridden place, and anyway, so you go down to like a disease-ridden place underground, and you have to take this little egg. I guess not an egg. Oh, what's it called? Basically, you take something. You have, it gets to get the objective to where it goes, and it's a really fun game. But holy crap, is it a little hard sometimes? Like, there's so many mobs, and we only did like one or two not episodes, like playthroughs. But holy crap, dude. It's like the amount of times that you have to go through it because somebody screwed up it's a good amount of times. The neonate, that's what it's called. So the neonate is basically what you have to carry throughout the entire game. You have to load it up with, I don't even know if it's DNA or what, but you have to put it through a machine, and all the mobs rush you. Every time you run into a new place, you have to get ready because the mobs are going to rush you immediately, basically. It's such a fun game, though.
Are you watching the Starfield direct now?
I have it on the other screen, yeah.
Yeah, I should probably see what happens if I watch your stream.
Pull it up. I'll just do this. I don't have the audio going though.
Yeah.
Because we'll get
I imagine that if
copywritten.
that when you send me the video of this recording, I'll probably be using your recording as the actual video for the podcast.
My camera's been on the entire time. If you don't mind that. What's it called? Oh, I paused it. I was wondering why it wasn't showing. What else was I gonna say? Oh, right. Since I was recording the bloopers, I got a good amount of time out of this. You're gonna have some to cut, just so you know.
Yeah.
But it's always good to have 2 recordings because you never know, what can happen.
And yeah, we could put the bloopers as the paywall stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think you'll have a good time with those bloopers.
Yeah. Hopefully this will get popular enough that I start having to worry about how to split the cash with you.
That's always the fun part, right?
Yep.
But at first, it was your creation, so I'm just here along for the ride. Up until the point where it starts getting to hundreds of thousands, I'm like, hey, can I get a salary?
Yeah, exactly. But I think I am going to have to set this up to separate it from my other podcast, so that if this one does get super popular, it will have its own feed and its own
Discord.
its own membership perks and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Because one of the ways that other streamers do it is that they set up multiple channels after they have one large one.
Yeah.
So they set up a clips channel. They set up a gaming only channel. For you, since yours is fan fiction reading, you could set up that one separate from the gaming channel. And this one is set up separately, isn't it? If I remember correctly. Or is this one on the same one?
It's currently on the same one. Like I put the first episode of Mystery Gaming Bros on the same podcast feed as Mystery Pony Fiction, but I am going to separate them after this. But I'm also
eventually.
gonna have both of them on Mystery Pony Fiction, but then just the Gaming Bros on its own one as well, so that it can be in the gaming section of podcast, searches. Whereas at the moment, it will be under like fiction and story podcasts.
No, that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
essentially separating it out so that it's its own distinct thing.
Yeah. But also going to still keep putting the Mystery Gaming Bros in my current podcast so that, my existing audience can be exposed to it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You want as much exposure as you can get, basically.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So what's the idea with your OC? Your cash flow OC there.
So I never really had an OC up to this point. Like, I don't know. I just never really thought I wanted to do it. And this one came about shortly after BabsCon, and it's basically an extension of me because I deal with. Well, I'm an accountant. I deal with leases. So I was like, well, what's a good name that I can do off the industry I work in at the moment? And that's kind of how it was born. So cash flow derives from a statement of cash flows. And that's literally where it came from. Statement of cash flows. I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Cash flow. It captured the name perfectly. It captured the idea perfectly. It gave me, this is supposed to be, I told the artist to make it like a statement, but that kind of works. That works out really well in my opinion. So that was the whole idea. He is dollar green. No. He is he's dollar green. He's dollar green with dollar green hair and bit gold mane highlights.
Cool. Yeah, with mine was actually fan art of a fan fiction that I wrote. And,
really?
and I got a couple of different fan arts, and I've just been using that as my logo. But it doesn't necessarily represent me. It's actually a character in a fanfic that I wrote. And I never really came up with a OC for myself except a long time ago, but it's kind of lame and I haven't looked at it in ages. I'd have like headphones as my cutie mark back then.
Well, that kind of makes sense because that's still when you were, what's it called? When you're creating your NSW readings, right?
I was even earlier than that.
Really?
Way
was that
back
your
at the
audio
beginning.
readings?
Well, back then I was making YouTube videos. I was a aspiring filmmaker. So maybe a video camera would have been a better idea, but I just sort of put headphones because of the fact that I'm always wearing them to avoid social interaction.
It still captures the idea.
Yeah, like I go out into public and I'm always wearing headphones, mostly so that I can avoid the social interaction when I'm out just trying to mind my business.
For me, I usually just use earbuds at this point. And since I moved up to the Bay Area, like, some people still interact, but for the most part, I'm the one that's giving off smiles. But
maybe I'll bring up my old OC and we can laugh at it sometime.
Hey, man, we all had OCs. Well, not me. I never had one, but this is my quote unquote old one that I'll laugh at one day, maybe.
Yeah, because you're only 22. You've got another 10 years to be as old a Brony as me.
I'll get there. Don't you dare doubt me. I'll get there. And then at some point, I'm going to have to incorporate... Well, I might as well show you. Oh my God. Oh! I'm going to have to incorporate this thing. Because it's finally growing out. Whoa. So that little caterpillar on my face, I'm going to have to incorporate that.
Yeah. Finally got rid of that baby face.
Hey, it's still there. All I have to do is shave and I'm back.
Mm.
Oh, man. It's pretty funny, though. Like, because I still have patches like here, and I got a patch here. Pretty sure I have like another one. Actually, you can see it. You can see it. Look, I'll show you. Check this out.
Yeah. Well, one of the main reasons that I shave fairly often is because it doesn't grow out very nicely.
Oh.
Like it grows out a mess, so I'm just better off shaving my beard.
Yeah, mine's a bit of a freaking mess right now. But at the same time, like, it is what it is. I'm glad tomorrow's Friday. For us in my office, we get what is it? Casual Fridays. So it's like, okay, woohoo, yay!
Oh
I don't
yeah,
have to worry about dressing up nice.
man. I remember when well, um, yeah, I remember the change from high school to TAFE. You know, it was like just so much better. Being able to just dress casually when you go to school.
Oh, were you guys uniformed?
In high school, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
And but yeah, then I just remember the freedom of being able to go to the campus, you know, in whatever clothes I wanted. In film school, that's what I went to after high school. I spent I tried to do an apprenticeship. I sucked at it. I was going to be a printer repair person, printer technician. That didn't really work out for me. So then I spent some time, as a computer salesperson, a year and a half, and that really depressed me. Like, you know, retail would depress anyone, having to deal with
Yeah.
customers. That's actually when I first started drinking. I think maybe it caused the start of my drinking, having to
That's probably not good.
work in retail. But then after that was when I went to film school, like kind of late. So yeah, like we have TAFE, which is kind of the vocational version of university. Like if you don't qualify for university and the sort of hard biology, science subjects like that, the alternative is TAFE, where you do more
Trade school.
you know, woodworking or mechanics. And I went into film and television, so and there I didn't have to wear, you know, uniforms or anything.
Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Was that
But like
was that one of the leading decisions for you? The fact that you wouldn't have to wear a uniform?
well, not particularly. I mean,
Okay.
I was inspired to get into film and television almost entirely from one person, and that was James Rolfe, AVGN.
AVGN. That
You don't know
seems
who-
so familiar.
I'm sure you've heard of him. He's pretty famous, but like I was literally watching his career.
Oh, the
grow.
angry video game nerd?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Angry
heard of
Video
him.
Game Nerd.
I've heard of him.
He's the one who inspired me to go to film school in the first place. And then, one semester into film school, I discovered the MLP fandom. So,
And now we circle back to the beginning. Wow.
yeah.
You know what? That's what you should do. You should edit that part at the beginning so that they're like, oh my God, when does this happen? And it's not till like the end of the video.
Yeah.
And they're like, are you kidding me? Are you serious? All this for that? Took you that long?
Yeah.
Were we on the
have
damn
to figure
scenic
out-
route?
Yeah. Have to figure out which clip to put at the start.
That'll be fun. I mean, you'll have plenty to choose from. I've been just chilling here doing some wacky things like eating a Dorito. So fun. I'm sure they're gonna love me eating.
Yeah. But anyway, saying that, I think 2 hours is long enough for today's episode.
I'd say so.
I haven't written out a outro or anything, so
Let's just do it now. This has been Cash Flow.
this has been the Mystery Fluttershy Fan, or Mystery Pony Fiction. And thanks for listening. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. Help us get famous. Help
Leave
us
a
get the
comment.
cash flowing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
leave a comment because that helps with the algorithm. leave a comment, a like, and like you said, subscribble.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was great talking to you.
Yeah, you too.
This is Strongman, and I officially endorse the Mystery Gaming Bros.